Bonjour les étudiants and welcome to this video on les articles partitifs. Now, these articles are a little bit different than anything that we necessarily have glaringly visible in English. However, in many ways, it comes out to the word some. It also is a cultural thing with how the language is interpreted. So this is an important thing to keep in mind whenever we're talking about food. Or, en français, l'aliments. Food. All right, so first off, here's what les articles partitifs look like. So they're things that we've already learned before. So we've got du for something that's masculine, singular. We have de la for feminine, singular. We have de, oops, sorry, wrong side. For something that has a vowel that's or an H that's not said, that's singular. And then we have de for plural. All the time, all of them. So, for example, if I wanted to say that I want some tea. I drink tea a lot. I drink tea every morning. So I could say je prends, and tea is masculine, so du, they. That means I have, I want, I drink, however you want to think of it. We'll put have. Some tea. Now notice this keyword some. That's essentially what it comes out to with du. You see, if I were to say je prends le thé, that means I drink all the tea in the entire world. So le, la, or le, la, le, we aren't using those in this case because otherwise it means all of it, which can get a little bit crazy depending on what item you're talking about. And let me tell you, tea is something that you can't easily count. It's not like you go, yes, I have 6 tea leaves, so this is the amount of tea that I'm drinking. No, it's kind of awkward like that. So that's why we use de. The same goes for something else that I know, tout le monde, everybody likes, chocolat, chocolate. So if I were to say, I want some chocolate, this is a common phrase, I say, je voudrais, and I were to put chocolat, I need to make sure that I put du. There we go. Let me fix that. That is ugly. Du chocolat. Why du chocolat? Because even though I think it'd be nice to have all the chocolate in the world, there is no way I can eat all the chocolate in the whole wide world. So, le chocolat, no. Du chocolat, oui. That's the one that we can use. So you notice how it's kind of a funny concept, but it's a very important one to keep in mind. This is also if you're talking about you eat something kind of in general. So oftentimes I eat chicken. So I eat chicken for dinner frequently, but that doesn't mean that I'm necessarily eating one single whole chicken. So it's kind of an in general, I eat chicken, it's not a whole chicken, but I eat chicken. I would use the same thing. So je mange, let's see, poulet is masculine, so we use du. Du poulet. I eat some chicken, but notice we have du here because otherwise it gets really awkward really fast. And if I were to say je mange le poulet, everybody's going to think I ate a whole chicken by myself for lunch, and I didn't. Now this doesn't mean that definite articles are out for good. However, it's more used when it's something that can be countable or is considered a whole. So for example, and we use the indefinite articles, so un, une, or des. So yes, des makes an appearance either way. So for example, If at breakfast I drink a cup of tea, I could say, let's see, or maybe before breakfast, so devant le petit déjeuner, voilà. Je prends un thé. This literally comes out to I drink a cup of tea. So I could also use je prends du thé, I drink tea. But notice, oops, accent's wrong way, there we go. But notice that this is a little bit more specific. I have one. Or perhaps Starbucks, je prends un café. I have a coffee. So notice that it's a little bit more specific. It is one single cup of coffee. Or for example, say that, have you ever had like small fish, like a fingerling catfish or something like that? You can eat a whole fish. You could actually say something like that. So instead of saying, je prends du poisson, I eat some fish, not all the fish in the world, it's actually a little bit more specific to tell them that it's a specific fish. So, je prends un poisson pour dîner. I eat a fish for dinner. So that means you are eating a whole fish by yourself, but it's a little bit more specific, so we're allowed to do it that way. Now next up, let's talk about, instead of using indefinite articles, what it means when we use definite articles. Now with definite articles, we can use them with things such as aimer, which means to like, or préférer, which is one you're going to be learning this chapter. Préférer, which means to prefer, or adorer, you know, you really love something, or détester, I hate it. So you can use these with definite articles. So le, la, les. This is where these guys show up. So, for example, let's see, I love cheese. It is a known fact. My husband will bring me home cheese because it makes me happy, along with chocolate. So, though I don't eat them together because that's disgusting. But anyways, I could say j'aime, and cheese is masculine, so j'aime le fromage. I like cheese, and this means cheese in general, but notice we have our definite article here. So instead of it being de fromage, which means I eat some cheese, we're not using some. We're not using which means like I'm having a whole block of cheese, which I have not ever had in one sitting. It just means I like cheese in general. So, you see the difference? It's not too bad. Or, if you really hate something, let me think, what do I not like? It's very difficult. I like a lot of things. Well, how about something that somebody else doesn't like? So, mon mari. Monsieur Cannon. Il, let's see. He doesn't like mineral water at all. So, Monsieur Cannon déteste. And notice this is just a regular ER verb right here. So, Monsieur Cannon déteste. I'm sorry. L'eau minérale. So notice, definite article, because of course this is talking about the item in general and how he feels about it. So that's basically how that works. All right, now the next thing is what happens if we add n'est pas to a sentence. Now in this case, it doesn't matter what the noun is, what the food is or the drink. We're always going to put de. It's kind of like combien de, where, or some other things that we've learned in the past where it's always de when you make it negative. So this is one of those cases. So for instance, if I don't drink mineral water, or let's go with Monsieur Cannon because we know he doesn't, we would say il ne boit, notice the T, pas, and instead of it being de la or de l'eau minéral or whatever, it would be just du minéral. So notice how it changes. If we were to put it back the way that it normally is, it actually would be il boit de l'eau minéral. So notice the de stays, the L leaves, and because this is a vowel, we're going to do the same thing that we did with the L. So it's basically the same thing. Or I actually have an aunt, believe it or not, who does not like chocolate. So if I were to talk about that, I would say elle elle, let's use manger. Elle ne mange pas de chocolat. Oops, no E. This is French, not English. There we go. De chocolat. So notice we have the de here, even though normally it would be du. Now, in the same way, if you're saying that you don't want any more, it works the same way. So, let's see, I've eaten a lot of chocolate. I don't want any more. I could say, je ne, we'll use mange, je ne mange, oops, plus, and plus means not anymore, de chocolat. I've already had enough. So notice that's de chocolat, not du chocolat down here. And that's because of the ne plus. Because we haven't really talked about this before because it hasn't really come up before, but ne pas, pas is just one of the many words that we can use with ne to mean negation. So this means not anymore, plus. We'll learn other ones in the future, but just to give you a sneak preview. So anyways, that's how that works. So remember, if you're doing negatives, then it's always de, regardless of what it normally would have been. All right, now the last thing that we need to know is expressions of quantity. So whenever you're talking about how much of something you want. Now, just like with ne pas, it's always going to be de. Or if it is a vowel and or an H that's not said, it's de and then followed by the vowel. So anyways, de. We're not going to use masculine or feminine or quantity in this case. So for example, imagine that I'm going à Starbucks and I'm going to order café. The first thing that I would do is je commande, I order du café. After all, café is masculine, so we want to make sure that we have our de, which follows all the rules that we've already learned. Now, if somebody asks me how many or how much at Starbucks, they would use the term combien de. Notice though, this is de. So even if it's café or de l'eau Or if it's poisson, it doesn't matter. It's always combien de, de, c'est tout. Now, there are several different phrases that I could use when I'm ordering. So let me use this. So je commande, and then we'll continue on from here. So I could commande un peu de café, which means a little bit. I could order, let's see, beaucoup de café, which is a lot. Let's see, so this is a little, this is a lot. I could, let's see, let's use it with some phrases that make a lot more sense. So I could have assez de café, which is enough coffee, which is easy for me to achieve. Basically, étal is assez de café pour moi. Or, of course, sometimes you have too much coffee. So if that happened, I could drink too much coffee. So, je bois trop de café. So basically, if I got a venti, that would be too much. Now notice in each of these cases, though, we have de, et de. So it doesn't matter that this is masculine. It doesn't matter that normally it's do. All that matters is that we have de here. Now, one other thing that I want to make sure that we're on the same page with, when it comes to the vowels, we always make sure that we're paying attention to that. So that's the only case in which this would change. So if we were talking about water instead, je commande un peu, it'd be du, of water, some water, basically. Or even if it was beaucoup de, assez de, trop de. So notice that it doesn't change regardless. It follows the same sort of rule, but of course we make sure that we have the agreement going on and don't have extra E's floating around that don't make the language beautiful. So there you go. That is pretty much everything that you need to know about quantity. Now I know that this whole concept is a little bit difficult since it's not quite like anything we have in English. So if you have any questions or need any help, just let me know. But don't worry, practice and you'll get it. Bonne journée!